Another one. Today is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. I'm still late. Next week I'll be on time. I think I should aim to record these on the weekend and release them on Monday, something like that, earlier in the week. So, yesterday shot a music video for a friend, Adam Wed. Third music video I shot for him. He's very productive and it's great to see. I was thinking about this in the shower a few minutes ago, because I do take showers sometimes. I was thinking about my perception of what a friend is supposed to be. Growing up, I never had many friends. And growing up, I had this perception that, well, first I felt bad about that fact. I thought, why am I not the type of guy who has many friends, who's always busy with his friends, who has a big group of friends. I thought that was strange. And I think I had a misconception about what a friend is supposed to be. And my friendships, the few I've had, were very fulfilling. Very fulfilling. But I had this idea partly that a friend is someone you spend time with, you talk about your life, you do these things, you go watch a movie, you go, go-karting, whatever, you go have fun. And I think now I'm realizing, for example, that Adam is my friend. And we only meet to shoot music videos. And we get along very well. And I'm realizing that that's the reason I didn't have many friends growing up. It's not necessarily the reason, but I think I felt bad because I thought I looked at it as a competition. If you have more friends, you're more popular, then you're better in a way. And I'm realizing that I didn't want to have more friends. I wanted to have good friends, but I didn't actually care about having more. And what I'm realizing with my friendship, for example, with Adam, is that we only meet to make work. And at my work, as a waiter, I have to do small talk. I have to talk with my colleagues, small talk, blah blah blah. I always try to ask questions, but in terms of questions that are not surface level questions that might be interesting. But people are not necessarily interested in talking about that, which is somewhat understandable. But I'm realizing I have no desire for these flat surface level friendships in my life. And I think a reason I never had many friends and things like that is that I didn't want that. I didn't know it, but my energy made it clear to people that I wasn't interested. And that's why I think in part that's why I didn't have a large group of friends. And so I'm realizing that the only thing I care about is making things and being productive and creative. And I don't want to go to the pub to get drunk. Hey, go away. To go to the pub to get drunk, to waste a dozen hours recovering after that, just wasting time. I don't want to meet you just to talk about your shit job. I don't want to talk about my shit job and and get drunk and go watch a movie every week. It's just a waste of time. And there are people who feel the same way, like Adam, right? He wants to make stuff. He wants to make music videos. He wants to do his music. He wants to be productive, and he has many friends, but people who he can people who are like-minded and who want to make stuff. And I think it's refreshing to realize that it's not that I'm broken and incomplete and something's wrong with me. Is that I refuse to accept that I'm different, or that I have specific needs and specific interests, and that's what I should go towards. Now, there's nothing wrong with having many friends. I want to have many friends, many people that I can count on, that can count on me, that are productive, that make stuff, and that we can collaborate on and help each other. I'm working on it, but I think I literally just had this realization in the shower, expressed it, fully for the first time, that nothing. It sounds weird, but there's nothing wrong with me. I am that way, and I need to accept that. And it's that's what's gonna make me happy. That's what makes me happy, to go out, with Adam, shoot a video, maybe go to the pub after, talk a little bit. But I don't want to be wasting time. And a lot of people, their life is they work and then they literally do something to make them forget they exist until they have to go back to work again. So the music video, we used a green screen for, it was my first time using a green screen. I didn't do as much preparation as I should have, but I think it worked out pretty well. It's gonna come out looking, kind of scruffy, cheap, DIY, and there's something very endearing and charming about that I'm happy about. And also I have to embrace it because I don't have the skills at the moment to make something that's gonna really look as good as maybe as I would have liked to originally. So green screen, put it in the living room on the wall. My mother had the good idea of ironing it first because I didn't think about that. Short-sighted. So the idea is I'm stealing these shots from films. So we'll go to the start. The song is called Homesick, and Adam just told me, hey, come, I have a little bit of an idea for what I want to shoot for this song. And we shot it, over a day. We planned on getting a sunset near where he lives. Don't remember what it's called, but there was no sunset. We, waited in the cold for like an hour, and eventually we were both tired, uninspired. We kind of said, yeah, I think we got it. It's good. And I started to edit it, and it was just no good at all. I was really trying my best to, make the most out of the footage as possible, forcing it. I wasn't accepting the fact that it wasn't, good. So eventually I sent him a draft, and he immediately said, I think we need to, do a reshoot. And I was very relieved that he agreed. On one hand, there was a part of me that thought, all right, let's just get this one done and we'll move on to the next one. But then when he sent me that text, I thought, I can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. I need to make this the best it can be. That's the whole point. He's not paying me a lot of money. It has to be a teaching experience, an experience where I learn something and where I try new things. That's what I get out of it, not the money. So I thought, after he said that, I thought, I don't remember exactly how it came about, but okay, the song is called Homesick. I have no idea why I thought about this, but it's called Homesick. And I thought, I guess I had thought about, I've been playing around with AI and the Photoshop beta, and just how crazy powerful it is and the things you can do with it, trying to experiment. And I thought, how about we'll put you in space? The ultimate form of homesickness, would be this idea of leaving Earth by yourself. There are homesickness and loneliness are often depicted in sci-fi, because it is the ultimate form of loneliness for sure, but also of homesickness. And so, all right, I thought we'll do that. And then I thought, in the spirit of experimentation, how about I actually steal shots from movies that are set in space, and we try to redo them. Now that sounds maybe a bit complicated. It's the simplest thing in the world nowadays with technology. You take an image, a still from the movie, you go on Photoshop, you just tell the AI, remove the actor. It looks seamless. And since you're going to put the performer, Adam, in the position where the actor was anyways, right, we'll try to copy the angle, the camera, focal length and everything, and the lighting. Since you're going to put him right there, the fact that the AI might be imperfect and that the background, might look a bit strange, it's going to be seamless. It's not going to be, you won't be able to tell. So that was the idea. I looked at a lot of movies, took a lot of screenshots, a lot more than we ended up using. I was being way too ambitious. I think we went for 13, something, maybe less, maybe around 10 different shots. Ad Astra, 2001, A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner 2049. It doesn't go into space, but it's a sci-fi, and it's shot by Roger Deakins. Those three at Interstellar. I don't think I mentioned earlier yet. Right, Interstellar. And I'm also going to steal other shots from other movies to create this experience of space the best I can. I don't know what the legal slash I don't know what the legal aspect of it is in terms of actually stealing the shots, but I think hopefully it'll be okay. It's on YouTube. I don't think he can monetize it. Maybe he can. I think he has enough views and the subscribers on his channel. But I think it's going to be quite discreet. I don't think it'll be that obvious what we're doing, except for some shots. But with the AI, I'm extending the shots, adding things, taking things away, not just the performer. But I think that was a very fun, well, on one hand, it was very fun to shoot, but on the other, it's so simple now to make a shot that will look, quite expensive. You have the green screen, you light him, and you put the background behind him, and it can look pretty legit if you take more time than we had. We shot from 7 to 11. As I said, I hadn't planned as much as I should have. I think with more planning, we could do something really, really effective. Now it's in black and white. It's in black and white because that makes everything easier. Matching him to the background is just about contrast now. It also changes, it makes it less obvious where the shot is from. I mean, some shots you won't be able to tell at all where they come from. And so making it black and white just makes everything more cohesive, much easier. I started editing it yesterday after we wrapped up shooting. I had some food from the restaurant I work at, which I gave to them. They thought it was delicious because obviously it's delicious, and I just realized I think I can eat there with a discount. And I realized I think I can invite people to eat there and they'll get a discount as well, which I never thought about that. So now every person I meet, I'll invite them because, it's such a good experience. We're going there in 2 weeks. We're going there in a week and a half to eat with my family. When I was in the week of isolation, I thought, we need to go eat there. And then after that, thanks to the isolation, that idea just took over my whole mind. I sat there for probably an hour, just sat there thinking, all right, we're going to order this is going to happen, that's going to happen. We're going to sit on that table, I'm going to sit, on that chair, and they're going to enjoy the fuck out of this meal, and that's going to be so gratifying, and it's just going to feel so good. That was one of the things that came out of the isolation thing. The 7 deadly sins and their counterparts, and how I tend to have jealous thoughts a lot. And the opposite of jealousy, according to that whole 7 deadly sins, blah 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 thing, would be gratitude. Gratefulness. Wait, was it? Yeah, gratitude. And then there was charity, which was the opposite of, don't remember, greed. But yeah, 2 things that I want to implement into my life seriously, as much as I want to implement having a good diet, a good sleeping schedule, a workout routine. I need to implement being grateful and being giving. It's as important. I looked at the previous episode with the red light. It looks interesting. It looks fun, the red thing. Don't think I'll do that same thing again, but it looks interesting. I have so many things I have to do. I have to edit that video. Now, because it was more planned, even though it wasn't as planned as it should have been, it was more planned than previous videos, so it should be easier to edit. I have to edit that video. I have to edit the previous video we shot together, Adam and I, as well. That's 2 videos that were shot, and my mother wants me to shoot a video for her. She's very insistent. I have to plan that. And the video I started in December of last year, which I feel very ashamed for in terms of how unprofessionally I've conducted myself and how behind I am on time and just a bunch of shit. But I'm thinking of using AI to finish it, which, when I was starting to get behind, my brother immediately went to me because he knows. There's this quote it's attributed to Bill Gates. Always get a lazy person to do the job because they'll find the easiest way to do it. And my brother, I've been very lazy throughout my life. I have been very lazy. And on one hand, that quote is interesting because there is some truth to it in terms of there are people who are better than others at simplifying things and making things easier for themselves, right? Now, laziness is not a good thing. But if you have that skill of being able to simplify things and find the easiest way to do things, I think it can make you, or it's easier for you to be lazy. If you have this natural tendency to simplify things, it's easier to be lazy. But if you apply yourself and you force yourself not to be lazy, it can be an attribute it can be an attribute, the ability to simplify things. And so I think, on one hand, I have this crippling laziness, and even laziness doesn't really do justice. Laziness is too simple, it's simplistic. There's so many things involved in what we call laziness. Just being distracted, the fear of failure, procrastination, all these things. And on the other hand, I am good, at simplifying things, at finding the easiest way. It can be something as simple as, like I think about the way I move through the restaurant at work, and through being used to it, I move in a specific way. The way I open doors, the way I turn a corner, the way I move things, right? Everything is streamlined, so to speak, simplified, because I'm used to that job. And like for example, I open a lot of doors just in daily life, in my house, at work, when no one's looking, with my feet. Sometimes I have to use my toes. Now that sounds like such a weird statement and such a thing that it sounds almost like I'm proud of it. But I have to take the bins out sometimes, the glass bin. Usually people will either like drag it along the floor, or they'll take two people, one person on each end to carry it. But I can carry it by myself. It's, the kitchen is very tight, and there's a door that requires you to push it. There's how do you say it? I don't know what you call that type of mechanism to open the door. It's like it's not a handle. It's like this little thing, and you have to push it. And when it's pushed, then you can push the door, if you know what I mean. And so the times I did open the door, the times I did take the bin out with someone else, the process is so slow. The process of dragging the bin along the floor is slow. The process of two people doing it is slow. It's uncomfortable. You have to bend down. And it's more difficult to go through the kitchen if there's two people, right? And then you get to the door, you put down the bin if it's two people, or you let go of the bin if you're carrying it by dragging it, blah, 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 blah. All right, when I do it, I take I lift up the bin, I move through the kitchen, blah, 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 really quickly. I get to the door, I put my foot against the door, like handle thing, and I open it, put the bin out. It's the quickest way to do it, right? And I don't like when people say, or I don't like when I see two of my colleagues, doing the bin together, or when someone is like, "Here, I'll help you." It obviously looks like, "Hey, I'm trying to say I'm strong. I don't need your help." Look at Abraham carrying the bin by himself, the bin full of glass bottles. But my thinking is, it's easier, it's quicker. Just give me the bin, I'll take it, I'll open it, I'll go through the whole process quicker than you, and that way less time is being wasted, right? And so, yeah, I don't know how this is coming off, but it feels natural for me that I have the bin in my hands. I could put it down and push the door with my hand, then take it up, or I could, have the bin in my hand. I push the door open with my feet. So that's just how I think. I go. We get criticized sometimes by our manager when people are being belligerent. I don't think the word I'm looking for is belligerent. When people are being lazy and they do their job halfway. And he likes to say, just like water, always choosing the easiest path, right? Because I guess I don't know. It's a good quote. Water always goes towards. It's always been pulled by gravity. It's always going to find a way. Blah 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 blah. But I think on one hand, if you're doing a half job, that's bad. But if you have the ability to find the easiest, most direct way to get the job done, then that's good. And I mean, there's a lot of nuance to that, because that's a very mechanical job to complete, taking a bin out, you know. There's also the front of house interacting with the guests job, right, which is a kind of more human job. And in that instance, you have to think differently, right? It's not about how quickly you can get through the thing when you're interacting with people and trying to make their experience enjoyable. But yeah, that's an example I have, and it might feel very obscure and nonsensical, but I think that's how I think. I don't like wasting time, even though I do it a lot and I get distracted. But my mind naturally goes towards what's the easiest, quickest way to do this efficiently. So going back to that quote, always get a lazy person to do the job because they'll find the easiest way. I mean, in a broader sense, that's, in terms of that quote, that's just how humans work. For example, if I wanted this podcast to be seen by, you know, the 5 or 10 or 20 people who are going to see this on YouTube, I could go somewhere, I could go on the street, you know, and get a microphone. Well, actually, let's assume this thing will get 1,000 views. Right, I could go on the street and, you know, do my podcast, say what I have to say to the people, right? But that will take more time and energy than if I just sit here, do this, and then 1,000 people across the world, anywhere, could actually, you know, look at it. Because we've created this technology, we've created these tools that make everything easier. So that's just how humanity works. We keep simplifying things and making things easier for ourselves. So it's just a normal, natural instinct. So yeah, laziness and simplifying things. Laziness and simplifying things. So the shoot yesterday went well. I have to finish that. Oh, so yes. So my brother brought up to me the idea of, hey, Abraham, since you're lazy, you know, and you like to find the easiest way to do things, and you've been struggling with this animation for the music video, why don't you just use AI to do it? And I really wanted to complete the music video in the style I had picked at first, draw every single frame, all 2,760. You know, I wanted this coherent look. But I have to accept the fact, on one hand, that it's much more difficult than I expected. It's flow. Flow is when something isn't hard, but not too hard, that you're confident and comfortable enough that the kind of difficulty and your ability meet in the middle, and you lose all sense of time and space, and you're just lost in the moment, right? That flow is beautiful. I remember when I used to draw all the time as a kid. Every night I used to draw for hours before going to sleep, right? I was in a complete flow state. No, I was in a complete state of flow, because I remember it was so amazing. I felt like every time I drew something, my skills were getting better. It's such an amazing feeling. Every single drawing I felt, okay, I'm better now. I'm more confident. I can do this better than the previous one. So I was in a constant state when I was drawing of, okay, I'm trying to draw something that's challenging, that I haven't done before, but I'm better than, you know, the last attempt I made at drawing whatever. So I was in this constant state of flow, and it's an amazing thing. And with this animation thing, I am never in I'm never in a state of flow. I am not competent enough to do it well enough, and so I'm just struggling, and that's been very off-putting, and that's led me to procrastinate a lot. And then we lost the pen. My mother or my sister lost the pen for the iPad, and it's 150. I don't have 150 to spare at the moment, so that's been my latest excuse for why I'm not finishing the video. And so I think I have to accept that perhaps this is an opportunity to just it's an opportunity. On one hand, if I try to complete the video with AI, it's an opportunity to learn about AI. It would be easier to reach a state of flow in a way, because it will be an easier process. Could lead to an interesting result, mixing what I've drawn with AI. I really need to talk to the artist. I've neglected that very much, because maybe he won't like the idea at all. But so the conclusion is that I need to get this video done by any means necessary as soon as possible. And I'm thinking that I'll try to complete it with AI. Yeah. Let me think. I don't have my laptop. I didn't have notes, but I thought it's been a busy week. Yeah, it was my first week back to work. It's been busy. I should be able to carry this to a respectable length by myself. But also earlier I was looking for a word and I thought, oh, that's why the laptop is here, because I can never find the word I'm looking for. I can never find it. I was going to say, last episode, towards the end, I was talking about how this doesn't feel intimidating. It's quite comfortable. And I can just chill here. I don't feel bad about it. So I guess I'm going to think now. Oh, the controversial section. I have my controversial, well, I haven't planned it in terms of the abbreviated version, the soundbite, clip it thing. My lips are dry. But I have my topic. The previous topic, the democracy topic, wasn't one. Okay, nice. Wasn't one I had, really heard before. No, I can't use that. This thing makes a horrible noise. I need to fix it. This is supposed to be my. People start vaping because they're trying to quit smoking. I never smoked cigarettes. I started vaping like a dumbass, and this is my thing that I'm trying to use to stop vaping. It's not working out so far. My topic. So the previous topic, democracy is stupid, blah blah blah, must be such a dumb topic and idea that it's not one that I have encountered before, like in popular culture. Not much. The other one though is the opposite. The other one is Trump, Donald Trump, the man, the legend. And the controversial statement, is one that I've heard many times in comedy shows and outside of comedy shows. Comedy shows I've seen on YouTube and on the internet, because I've never gone to a comedy show in real life, now that I think about it. So it's that Trump was a great president. Trump was the best. Now, Shane Gillis, Andrew Schultz have their bits, and I'm sure many other comedians and people have their bits on how Trump was such a great president. And the first thing they go to, obviously, is that every other day you had a new, Trump. You had your new Trump episode. Oh, did you hear about how he made? He mocked this. I don't remember exactly. I'm just gonna paraphrase, but he mocked this reporter with with a handicap. He was mocking him like this, or how he said this, how he said that, how he's just controversy everywhere. And when he was president, I couldn't wait, to encounter a person who hates him, and say, but he's the best. He's so funny. He's hilarious. He's so funny. It's weird liking people who you find funny that people actually hate. It's a strange thing. But anyways, Trump was the best. And you look at the things he's inspired. Every comedian has done also a Trump impersonation, because it seems so easy. Shane Gillis is a good one. The one who shot a cinematographer. Alec Baldwin. That was his thing on SNL for a while. It was just hilarious. It was so fun. And in his bit, Andrew Schultz mentions how the current president, Joe Biden, is so boring in comparison, right? He's also creepy. I mean, Trump is quite creepy. But Trump likes MMA. Like, how can you dislike the guy? Also, people love saying he's racist. Like, I haven't combed through everything he's ever said. I, for one, don't think he's racist. I haven't combed through. I don't know. I'm sure he said things that are very suspicious, because the man doesn't give a shit. He says what he wants to say. And he's an old man too, but an old American white man. But I remember seeing this video where he's with Matt Serra talking about the UFC, talking in his very specific Trump manner about how I can't imitate Trump. I can't imitate anyone with my speech. It's just I can only imitate myself. He was talking about the only thing my only attempt at imitating him is wrong. I can't. What? Wrong. I can't do it. A lot of hand gestures. Wrong. He talks about the UFC and the fighters and how they're great. Oh yes, and he's talking about Kamaru Usman. Oh yes. Oh, I wish I could. But I wish I could imitate him because it's actually it's so simple. He has such a specific way of expressing himself. Trump was the best. That's the soundbite. Actually, I'll hold this. Trump was the best president of all time. Trump was the best. So he's talking about UFC fighters, and he has decent knowledge about everything. Oh yeah, Jorge. He loves Jorge. And he talks about Kamaru Usman. Oh yeah, Kamaru Usman was great. He was a great fighter. He was a great champion. Blah blah blah. And I mean, doesn't seem racist if he can appreciate a black man. Actually, an old, very powerful, very rich white man congratulating a black athlete for being good. Not really something that you can use as evidence that said white man is not racist. But anyways, he loves the UFC, which I find to be just a good trait to have. He likes the UFC, and he's not like a fake fan. He actually seems to have knowledge and care. So there's that. There's also the fact that everyone was saying he would never be president, and there was this video when he became president of Obama mocking him and saying he would never be president. And so there's something there's something endearing and attractive about the fact that he was the underdog and that people mocked him and that he doesn't seem to give a shit. He does what he wants. So once again, Trump is the best. If you disagree, you're wrong. Also, I remember when he was president, I remember looking at the stats and how well or badly he was running the country. And I remember it being I remember positive things. There were positive things. A president is not going to solve the countries and is not going to have this enormous impact that they're trying to sell in order to gain presidency. But they have an impact, with their beliefs and the things they try to instill, if they have any control at all. And it seems like when he was president, some of the things he was doing and of the way he was conducting himself were quite positive, as far as I can remember. And that you can't say the same. Every president, had the negative side and some positive side. I suppose some had more of one and more of the other. But I remember when he was president, and because everyone was saying, "Oh, Trump, racist, asshole, blah blah blah." Immediately I thought, well, but easy. Let me look up the actual facts. And it seems like he was actually having a positive impact in some ways, and that in comparison to his predecessor and to the current weirdo we have, he was not objectively a worse president, right? So from that standpoint, if he's not objectively doing worse, once again, I don't follow politics, I don't know the ins and outs and the actual facts, but from what I remember, and from talking to other people, no one could tell me, oh yeah, Obama was doing great, and then Trump came along and fucked everything over. Like, no one was saying that. They were saying, he's a racist. He said grab her by the pussy. People just being emotional. And I can't help when I see this, I can't help think, okay, so what's actually happening here? Because everyone's hating this guy, but no one's giving actual tangible facts or tangible information on how he's making the world worse, right? Just a very good parallel with Andrew Tate. He's a misogynist. He said this, he said that. Yeah, but have you looked into it, more? No. So that was my controversial take. Trump was the best president. I'll say it again. Trump was the best president. He was hilarious. He was so... when COVID started and he called it the Kung flu. Are you fucking serious? Like, when you have such a platform and such a position, king of the world essentially, I mean, president of the free, whatever they call it, most powerful man in the free world, which might not be factually true, but America is seen as is considered the biggest power in the world. So if you're president of America, then you're basically the big bad boss of the entire world. Once again, might not be actually true, but in terms of, if you look at it on the surface and how the world functions on the surface for most people, that's what we see. The president of the United States is the president of the world. And this guy said the Kung flu. Like, Bill Burr can be as hilarious as he wants, and Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock, and Shane Gillis, and whoever. But they're not the president. They're comedians making jokes. He's the president, and he said the Kung flu, and the Kung flu was a hilarious thing to say, but compounded by the fact that he's the most powerful man in the world with the most eyes on him. The fact that he would say that and not give a shit about how people might judge him is so fucking funny. The idea that he thought in his head what any other person in the world who has a good sense of humor might have thought. Right, there's this pandemic. We're thinking it's coming from China. It's some kind of flu, some kind of disease. The Kung flu. We'll call it the Kung flu. And I'm sure he's not the first person. He's not the first person who thought of it, right? Some guys hanging around might have thought the Kung flu. Oh, that's funny. He's the president of the United States, and he just said it like it's nothing because it's fucking hilarious. Now, stop Asian hate. Bad things happen. People were being horrible. You can't. That's separate in a way. He had the balls to say it. He didn't even give a shit. He just said it. That's hilarious. I can't remember that he had so many classic moments. Classic moments like that. The Kung flu. And I remember I didn't see any article or anything saying, wow, Trump made this joke that's so unacceptable, but it's kind of funny. It was just, how dare he say that? That's unacceptable. Blah blah blah. The China flu, the Kung flu. No, that's very funny. And once again, it's 10,000 times funnier because he's the president of the United States, and he doesn't give a shit. All right. The controversial section is finished, I think. What else? Let me think. Work. I haven't read almost at all in the past week. I haven't worked out. I haven't kept my diet up. I'm getting panicked because the restaurant where I'm taking my family is quite expensive. Obviously, we get a discount, but it's expensive, and I don't make a lot of money. I just want to be sure that when we go there, I have the money in my account to pay. So that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not buying things. I'm not even buying food. I'm just thinking, I have to make sure that the money's in my account when they bring the card machine. That's what I'm thinking about, mostly. It's really time for me to start monetizing my skills and making money. It's really time to start making money. Money. I got to find money. I made this video for Mila GXG, for this song where he repeats, I got to find money, for the whole song. And I like the song. I like it. I got to find money. And he hasn't released it yet. We shot it in June or something. Even maybe earlier. We shot it in June or something. And he still hasn't released it. What is he doing? This Friday, wait, I'm going to release this thing in a few days, whatever, Friday the 1st of, we're in August, September. Friday the 1st of September, the video I shot with Adam, the previous one, FOMO, is releasing. That's exciting. So exciting when you make something and then it gets released and then people get to see it and then that's it. I don't know if it's as exciting as how frustrating it is when you do make something and it just lingers there, unreleased, unseen. I think the frustration trumps the happiness of releasing something. Patience. I made this list. Another video I saw on Instagram. Oh, here's how you make a lot of money. This exercise, right? You need to define the question very clearly. How do I make 100K in the next 12 months? Okay. So let me help you out. How do you make 100K in the next year? That's easier. How do you make 100K in the next year? And then find 20 ways, things you could be doing that could, have an impact that you believe, could help. And then he mentions, first things are going to be, can be easy, wake up earlier, be more consistent, this, that, but eventually, naturally, you'll start finding things that are more specific. And also, once you get to 5, the first 5, that's easy. 10, is all right. But once you get to 11, 12, 13, 15, it starts getting hard. You have to think deeper and deeper. I mean, that's an idea that's just an idea for creative thinking in general. What should be the title for my movie? Oh, I got a title. And then keep going, because the first title we think about is the most obvious answer. Which is obvious. It's the first thing you thought about. So naturally, it's the most obvious answer. So keep going. Add another one. And you find yourself, when you push yourself to be more creative and to think more creatively and outside the box, it's going to get more and more interesting. It feels like something is vibrating. The fuck? It feels like my bed is vibrating. So, I got to 5, I got to 10, and I started thinking, all right, this is getting difficult. Took a break, came back. Eventually, I got to 20. Eventually, it got kind of easier, and I realized, I counted them, I got 20. And the last one, and something he mentions is that, what he says specifically is that usually the last one is the most, powerful one. But I think, based on this idea, is once you get past 10 or 12, that's when you start getting the good ideas. I don't think it's as specific as the last one. But I think it's cool that when I was doing it, I wrote the last one, not knowing it was the last one. And then I counted and I thought, I wasn't forcing it. Naturally, this became the last one. And it's just 2 words. Very poetic, very beautiful. I was struggling writing these, not sentences, but these long, you do this, that way, do that, blah, blah, blah. And then 20th, 2 words. And it turns out that was the last one. The words were, let go. Let go. And I had let go of the past or something at some point, right? But it wasn't as good as let go. Eventually I just wrote let go. And something I mentioned many times here, letting go, how powerful it is. I'm just reflecting once again on the past, on the things that have worked out for me, on the times I was, you could say successful. Letting go is such a powerful thing. I am reaping the benefits currently of having let go. And the more I was trying to force that thing, the more I was being frustrated. And this idea that I have jealous thoughts, right? It happens sometimes, but the problem is not that. It's that I think too much about, I should have said this, I should have done that. Why is this happening? Is this happening? Is that happening? Just too much doing the opposite of letting go. Too much of doing the opposite of letting go all the time. And letting go is so powerful. I said it here, I said it previously, I'll say it again. Letting go is the most incredible, powerful, magical thing you can do. And you can't approach it in a simplistic manner. It's not like just let go of everything all the time. All right, fuck it, let go. No, you have to understand that when it's time to let go, you'll know. When it's time to let go, you know. You know, because you're trying to force something. You're trying to push when you should just be putting back. And as I said, I'm currently reaping the benefits of having let go. And I need to make that a habit in every way, especially in the way I think. Very simple thing. Something will bother me, and I'll just have the arguments in my head over and over again. Think about all the different, things that could be said, that I could say, that I could have said if I said anything. Just let go. Fuck it. Anyways, why? Why have an argument with yourself in your own head? What's the point? Letting go. So for example, with the music video, the animated one, I'm letting go. I need to finish it. I'll try this new thing that makes me somewhat uncomfortable. I'm just gonna let go. And many specific things I can think about that I'm gonna let go of. Just gonna let go. Let me think. Let me think. I need to let go of this fucking thing. Also in the past year, I've learned about how patience, in terms of not forcing things. For example, quitting this. I've learned to accept that things that are supposed to happen will happen. And I saw another video talking about this idea that don't try to do something until everything is aligned. Now, I don't think that's something you can apply to everything all the time. Nothing is. But this idea of, once again, not forcing it, but it's not letting go in that case. It's do it when the time is right. It's don't stretch yourself too far. Wait till everything is aligned. And once again, many things are currently aligned in my life. Through letting go of things, through forcing myself to do things. And when things are aligned, it's easier to move, period. To move forward, to move in any direction when things are aligned. So I think I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to talk to you specifically. I had something I wanted to say, but I've forgotten. But yeah, in your life right now where there are things that are fucked, where there are things that are completely fucked, where there are things that are completely, that are bothering you to the max. And you know where there are things that are, somewhat aligned. And I think if you just look at those things that are in place and the things next to them that are slightly out of place, there's a whole spectrum from in place to completely fucked up. Yo.
Ça t'arrête de prêter les cartes parce que maman tu fais que payer jeudi.
Prêter quoi?
15 pounds parce que je veux m'acheter des cheveux.
J'ai pas de thune là. Non.
Ça rien, ça
marche. Désolé. So you have these things in your life that are, depends on everyone, in place, that are right, that are aligned. Maybe the most aligned thing, the most in place thing in your life is somewhat fucked up. But there are these things in your life that are in place somewhat. Maybe completely in place if you're, lucky. And then it trickles down to the things that are completely fucked up. And if you just look at the things that are aligned, the things you can do easily, the things you're comfortable with, and you think about how these things can impact the things around them that are a bit less aligned, and you try to pile up things that you can put in the right place. Small things. When Jordan Peterson talks about clean your room first, right? Just, I don't know, I have to clean my room. But I mean, it's actually all right. But you look at just the small things, put them in the right place. Do your bed, put a cushion in the right place. Then you start looking around the bed, put what the fuck is it called? Oh, come on. The carpet. Align the carpet. Just align the carpet. Put the chair nicely on the carpet. Make the table straight. The small things, and you pile them up, right? Through days, through hours, through days, through weeks, months. And the more you do that, the more it trickles down, and you have like this nice little pile of things that are nicely aligned. The more things in your life are aligned, the easier it is to move in any direction. That's my speech to you, stranger. So once again, I think about it in terms of me specifically. The sacrifices and the things I implemented in my life, the small things, I am reaping the benefits right now. And how it's helping me now tackle the bigger things. For example, that music video is a thing that's fucked up completely. And it's hard for me to approach it. But now I feel more confident to do so. And it's like this big, boulder on my shoulders, this thing from December that is bothering me, that I have not attended to, that I've ignored, that I've been just terrible with. But right now, I feel like, I'm almost like really, 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 really close to being able to tackle it. And once I do that, I'll be able to tackle, bigger things, and etc. But it's all about making it a natural thing and a practice that you're always trying to fix things, put them in the right place, small things, so that more things are in place, and then, it becomes easier. Feel good right now. Feel good. Feel good. Yeah, when things are in line, when things are aligned, so much easier to move. It's much easier to gather momentum, to move in a certain direction. And that requires letting go. Don't try to take the big step. Do the big thing. Do the small thing. Do the tiniest thing. The minuscule thing. The ridiculously small thing. I think that's it. Life is good. Gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, I got a message on Instagram. Someone saying, I don't remember what he said specifically, but about the podcast, like saying that it was good or something. It was a positive message. And it's strange. It's strange because I'm not doing this to motivate people, for example, or to give anything to anyone, really. I'm not doing this thinking, oh, I'm going to make a motivational channel and people are going to tune in and I'll be that motivational guy. I'm not doing this just to be like, I'm going to be that guy that talks about his projects. It's going to help me advertise my work and advertise myself, right? The motivation isn't that at all. The motivation is, let me sit here in hell, in the worst place possible, in front of a camera, and broadcast myself to anyone who'd stumble on the video, including people who know me, right? Just put myself naked. That was the motivation. That is the motivation. Do this, right? But the idea of people in any way, appreciating it or finding anything out of it, getting anything out of it, anything positive in any way possible, is extremely gratifying. It just is. And just in general, right, when someone says, you did something good, it just feels good. So I got a message on Instagram, and I'm very thankful for it. It's very nice. And yeah, good. There's been many times where I thought, like, what do I get out of this? Why do I do this? Just wasting an hour. I should just stop. And I shouldn't. It's one of those things that it's not obvious what I get out of it. It's not obvious that this isn't a wasted hour. It's not obvious. But I feel somewhere, I can't describe, but I feel like it's the right thing to do. As I mentioned in the previous episode, I think I am 100 times more fluent and fluid and confident in front of the camera right now than I was 20 weeks ago. I also watched, I think the first one that is visible, the first A podcast. I watched it recently. Some of it. Oh, so uncomfortable I was. But I watched this one, and I also watched an earlier, the very first one, the very, very first one that I put on private. It's so, uncomfortable to watch. But so all this to say, once again, as I've said many times before, that it's very cool to see growth. But on that note, I haven't seen that much growth outside of this space here in terms of my ability to communicate and speak with people in real life, because naturally I'm just talking to a camera right now. So that's one of the things that makes me think, I'm wasting my time here. The point is not to be able to ramble on for an hour in front of a camera about nothing in specific. The point is to become more eloquent. That was one of the words I used in that very first episode. Becoming eloquent. That's the point. So if it doesn't translate to the real world, then it's useless. But once again, it feels like I have to keep doing this. It feels like it's like the bamboo thing. It feels like I'm not seeing any real, I'm not getting anything real back, like real. That message was really nice and feels really good. But I'm not, doing this to get nice messages. But it feels like, as much as that message, wasn't, I guess I don't know what, besides the practice of it, I don't know what I can get out of it anyways. So getting anything like that message feels good. And it feeds that thing in the back of my mind that tells me I should keep doing this. Even though this thing, I don't know what it is, I don't know why, but it feeds that energy that just keep doing it. You don't know why, you don't know what you're getting out of it. It's not, you're not getting anything out of it now, but just keep going. So I'm going to. All right, that's it. Thank you. And have a good day, have a good week. Have a good life. Goodbye.